A popular reality TV program called The Incredible Dr. Pol immerses viewers in the life of seasoned veterinarian Dr. Jan Pol, who practices in rural Michigan. With more than 40 years of expertise, Dr. Pol and his committed staff handle everything from essential examinations to life-or-death situations. The program highlights Dr. Pol's straightforward demeanor, intense passion for animals, and exuberant personality, while capturing rural veterinary practices' unvarnished, genuine moments. When The Incredible Dr. Pol debuted on National Geographic Wild in 2011, it immediately won viewers by combining comedy, education, and touching tales to highlight the special relationship between people and animals in a small-town environment. Birth and early life. Dr. Jan Pol was born in the Netherlands on September 4, 1942. In his tiny rural village, animals were essential to everyday life. He had a deep affection for animals from an early age, which led him to pursue a career in veterinary practice. Farm animals appeared to Dr. Pol because they were all around him in his rural setting. The University of Utrecht. He attended the University of Utrecht to study veterinary medicine after finishing his early schooling in the Netherlands. He subsequently relocated to the United States after earning a degree in veterinary medicine in 1970. After relocating to Michigan, he established Dr. Pol's Veterinary Services, a veterinarian clinic that treats farm animals. He would eventually become well known as his practice became the main focus of the reality TV program, The Incredible Dr. Pol. The Incredible Dr. Pol. The Incredible Dr. Pol is a reality TV program that has made Dutch veterinarian Dr. Jan Pol a celebrity. Having worked in veterinary care for over 40 years, Dr. Pol is known for managing even the most complex cases, his love of animals, and his no-nonsense attitude. His rise to prominence in his veterinary practice and on television is evidence of his commitment, drive, and diligence. His future career. Dr. Pol was born in the Netherlands and raised in a small rural community where animals played a significant role in day-to-day activities. His early involvement with farm animals influenced his future profession and strengthened his ties to the veterinary care industry. He showed a deep love for animals at an early age, and it was apparent that veterinary practice was his vocation. In 1970, Dr. Pol graduated with a degree in veterinary medicine from the University of Utrecht in the Netherlands. After finishing his education, he immigrated to the U.S. and settled in Michigan, where he would become well known for his veterinary work. Dr. Pol's Veterinary Services. Large animals, mostly agricultural animals like cows, pigs, and horses, were the first emphasis of Dr. Pol's practice, Dr. Pol's Veterinary Services. He immediately gained recognition for his abilities to manage stressful circumstances and his kind but realistic approach to animal care. Dr. Pol gained a profound grasp of the particular difficulties of rural veterinary practice by working extensively with the rural agricultural population in Michigan, in contrast to many of his colleagues who focused on small animal care. National Geographic Channel. When the National Geographic Channel, now Nat Geo Wild, contacted Dr. Pol in 2011 about developing a reality television show based on his veterinary business, his life shifted significantly. That same year saw the premiere of The Incredible Dr. Pol, a unique and engrossing glimpse into Dr. Pol's day-to-day activities as a veterinarian. The program follows Dr. Pol and his staff as they treat various animals, sometimes under pressure and in emergencies. It highlights Dr. Pol's interpersonal relationships with his patients and their owners and the medical aspect of veterinary treatment. Humor, heart, and education. The combination of comedy, heart, and education in The Incredible Dr. Pol made it an immediate success and drew a large audience. Every episode demonstrated Dr. Pol's profound empathy for animals and his direct, no-nonsense style, which struck a chord with viewers. The program raised awareness of the value of rural veterinarian care, especially the difficulties in caring for big agricultural animals in rural areas. The audience learned about the effort, commitment, and knowledge needed to care for animals, many of which were in uncomfortable or life-threatening circumstances, through Dr. Pol's work. A passion for animals. Dr. Pol became famous in the entertainment and veterinary sectors as the program's popularity increased. Fans adored him because of his uncomplicated approach to veterinary treatment and exuberant attitude. His love of animals and willingness to solve complex problems, no matter how difficult, captivated viewers. The program honored the close relationship between people and animals while showcasing Dr. Pohl's extraordinary veterinary abilities. Despite his notoriety as a television personality, Dr. Pohl has remained a dedicated veterinarian and an enthusiastic supporter of animal welfare. He still runs his business in Weidman, Michigan, providing vital veterinary services to rural areas despite the demands of celebrity. His devotion to his patients and their families has always been at the core of his job, and the incredible Dr. Pohl has only strengthened his commitment to the veterinary field. Hard work and authenticity. The life and career of Dr. Jan Pohl are a testament to the strength of drive, perseverance, and sincerity. He's introduced the world to his knowledge, passion for animals, and dedication to rural veterinary treatment via the incredible Dr. Pohl. He provides an honest depiction of the difficulties and successes of the field. The program has amused and informed viewers about the reality of veterinary care. Both on and off the screen, Dr. Pohl is remembered for his commitment to his patients, his profession, and the principles that shaped his extraordinary career. A heartbreaking tragedy. The adored veterinarian Dr. Pohl's exceptional care for animals has impacted millions of lives, but his family has endured a devastating loss behind the scenes. Dr. Pohl's loyal son, Charles, suffered a tragedy that permanently altered his life. How did this tragedy affect the Pohl family, and what became of Charles? Join us as we reveal the secret tale that'll break your heart. Success, happiness, and a very personal sorrow are woven into the narrative of Charles Pohl, the son of famous Dr. John Pohl. This well-liked veterinarian became well-known thanks to the incredible Dr. Pohl. Charles, a prominent figure on television, has been instrumental in producing and acting in his father's program, which has helped millions of people learn about the amazing world of animal care. Beyond the spotlight and the family's ascent to popularity, however, is a lesser-known aspect of Charles's life that many fans may not be aware of, one characterized by hardships and heartache. Shaping the success. Let's examine Charles Pohl's life in more detail, from his early years spent with his parents and pets to his work in television and his pivotal part in the incredible Dr. Pohl's success. We'll also look at the significant obstacles Charles had overcome behind the scenes, illuminating a heartbreaking and inspirational tale. Born in central Michigan on March 6, 1979, Charles Pohl's life can only be characterized as entirely extraordinary. Charles was reared in a household where animals were treated more like family than pets after being adopted as a newborn by Dr. Jan Pohl and his wife, Diane. Imagine having a veterinarian clinic as your second home, cows as your neighbors, and pigs as your alarm clock when you were a child. Charles was thrown into the maelstrom of agricultural life as a child. Charles held down goats and got scalpels for his father, while other children exchanged baseball cards or played computer games. Work hard and don't step in manure was essentially the credo for the family. Charles began assisting his dad as soon as he could wield a bucket, and to endure the craziness of farm life, he developed a strong affection for animals and a well-honed sense of humor. Charles Pohl content. Charles, however, wasn't satisfied with the veterinary field. Even while seeing his father attempt to subdue a 1,500-pound cow was interesting, he had aspirations outside of the barn. As his father was diagnosing khaki, Charles saw Hollywood as a different limelight. He aimed to make tales come to life without the cow pie odor. Thus, he packed away his early recollections of fur, muck, and farm mischief and started to forge his way. With perseverance and most likely a pair of boots, Charles carved out a career in television production and went on to become the brains behind the incredible Dr. Pohl. Charles proved that you can take the kid out of the barn, but you can't take the barn out of the kid. He may not have pursued a career in veterinary medicine, as his father did, but he shed light on the family's remarkable story. A flair for storytelling. Charles Pohl had a talent for telling stories and amusing everyone who would listen. Whether they were family, friends, or a barn full of animals. Charles's hobbies were very different from those of his father, Dr. Jan Pol, who devoted his life to veterinary medicine, the glamorous entertainment world. Charles enrolled in the University of Miami after high school, majoring in communications, marking the beginning of his journey toward realizing his aspirations. He was excited to leave the small-town life he had known growing up and pursue a profession distant from central Michigan's farm animals and rolling fields. Charles had other ideas that included screenplays, cameras, and the buzz of Hollywood instead of cow dung and needles, even though many people thought he would follow in his father's footsteps. The entertainment industry. After graduating, Charles packed his bags and traveled to Los Angeles, the heart of television and movies, determined to make a name for himself in the entertainment world. He interned for well-known production businesses there, obtaining practical experience in a fiercely competitive industry. Even though Hollywood was a massive departure from his rural childhood, Charles succeeded because of his parents' work ethic, curiosity, and perseverance. In Los Angeles, Charles worked with legendary figures in the business, including Sidney Pollack and Edward James Olmos. Although these internships weren't easy, they were beneficial since they allowed him to see firsthand how Hollywood operates. He gained experience in production, from handling tight deadlines to comprehending the craft of on-scene narrative. For Charles, these early years were crucial. They gave him the self-assurance to follow his aspirational dreams and the technical know-how required to succeed in the film and television industries. The foundation for Dr. Pol. He would later use this experience as the basis for his work on The Incredible Dr. Pol, the television program that turned his family's small-town veterinary clinic into a worldwide sensation. Even though Charles left the farm for the glitz and glitter of Hollywood, his upbringing eventually influenced his most outstanding achievement. Charles Pol's heart remained firmly rooted in his family and the distinctive culture he grew up in, despite his aspirations to work in Hollywood. After years of working in the entertainment business, Charles concluded that the narrative he was most passionate about, the day-to-day activities of his father, Dr. Jan Pol, and the family's veterinary clinic, had all the elements necessary to make an engaging reality TV program. Nothing on television could compare to Dr. Pol's unwavering devotion to animals, practical approach to veterinary care, and exuberant personality. Potential in showcasing his father. Charles suggested developing a television program in 2011 that would center on his father's small-town Michigan veterinary clinic. He saw an opportunity to emphasize the difficulties and benefits of providing veterinary care in a remote area while promoting his father's fantastic work. Charles presented the idea to National Geographic Wild with tenacity and business acumen. The Incredible Dr. Pol was formed when the network immediately saw the unique appeal and tale of the Pol family. Later that year, the program premiered and quickly gained popularity, enthralling viewers with its unique mix of comedy, educational insights, and touching moments. Charles assumed a dual role as the executive producer and regular on-screen presence. His humorous nature, close relationship with his father, and behind-the-scenes knowledge greatly aided the program's popularity. A household name. Under Charles's direction, the Incredible Dr. Pol made the Pol family famous and introduced their heartwarming and distinctive tale to worldwide viewers. In addition to presenting Dr. Jan Pol's fantastic work, the series honored the close link between people and animals and how important it is to the daily operations of a rural veterinary clinic. Under Charles's direction, the program provided a genuine and unvarnished look into the pleasures and difficulties of practicing veterinary medicine in rural areas, covering everything from life-saving procedures to the routine tasks associated with taking care of farm animals. Charles' painstaking attention to detail and comprehension of the family's beliefs ensured that the story remained touching and captivating, establishing a personal connection with viewers. Thanks to his diligent labor behind the scenes, the program remained faithful to the Pol family's origins by genuinely portraying their lives and work. Charles helped transform the program into a cherished celebration of the hardships and benefits of working in rural areas by fusing comedy, knowledge, and compassion. Because of this strategy, the program gained a place in people's hearts everywhere. The roller coaster ride. Charles Pole has had tremendous success in his career, but his personal life has been filled with emotional ups and downs. The marriage of Charles to Beth Oakes, a childhood acquaintance who has been close to the Paul family for years, was one of the happiest moments of 2018. Based on years of friendship and shared experiences, their bond developed organically. Family, friends, and fans of the incredible Dr. Pole, who were overjoyed to see Charles take this significant step, touchingly celebrated the wedding. Because of their sincere bond and the joy they offered to one another, people soon grew to enjoy Charles and Beth's tale. A new chapter – fatherhood. Abigail, the couple's daughter, was born in 2019, adding to their family. Charles's life began again with her birth, and he welcomed parenthood with the humor and commitment that fans had anticipated. Charles's loving husband and father status was further cemented in 2021 when the Paul family welcomed a newborn boy. Charles gained a more excellent knowledge of family life and the difficulty of juggling work and personal obligations due to the pleasures and responsibilities of being a parent. Charles has continuously put his family first despite the pressures of creating a popular TV program, demonstrating that his most significant achievements aren't limited to his time spent with his loved ones and on television. Devastating tragedy. Charles Pole suffered a tragedy that rocked the Pole family in the middle of the incredible Dr. Pole's prosperity and the happiness of his expanding family. Adam Butch, Charles's nephew, died suddenly in September 2019 at the young age of 23. Adam was a treasured part of the close-knit family and the adored son of Charles's sister, Kathleen Pole. Adam's premature passing was a terrible loss that would never be fully satisfied. Adam had been close to Charles and the whole Pole family, often participating in their everyday life and family get-togethers as a young man with a promising future. In addition to being a personal sorrow for each member of the family, his loss served as a sobering reminder of how unpredictable and frail life is. Family's emotional anchor. The death profoundly impacted Charles, who was well known for his constant presence and capacity to uplift everyone around him. He put much effort into helping his sister and the rest of the family through this trying period since he was their emotional pillar. Even though the Pole family has been grieving in secret, people who followed their lives on social media and the program could see how sad they were. Adam's passing brought to light the value of cherished relationships and the transient nature of time. The Pole family experiences grief despite their notoriety, and this tragedy exposes the humanity that lies underneath their public image. The death of Adam was a sad chapter in an otherwise happy story for Charles, who had previously had to balance his own expanding family and career success. The Pole family's closeness grew even more apparent in the aftermath of the catastrophe, even though they hardly ever publicly discuss their pain. Family like any other. It reminded supporters that despite the cameras and veterinarian success stories, the Poles are like any other family, overcoming obstacles in life with love, resiliency, and mutual support. Even as he bears the burden of this devastating loss, Charles's character is shown by his capacity to support his family during such a trying period. Charles Pole sought comfort in his profession and family despite the tragic events that had befallen him. Charles was deeply affected by the death of his brother-in-law, Adam Butch, but he used his sorrow to find new meaning in life. Using his platform to inspire and amuse, he threw his all into the incredible Dr. Pole and other artistic endeavors. He demonstrated his faith in the therapeutic value of connection and storytelling by delicately incorporating themes of optimism, resiliency, and the value of cherishing loved ones throughout the show. Advocate for mental health. Charles also quietly started to promote awareness of mental health issues. Even though he didn't publicly discuss his difficulties, his deeds screamed. Fans responded favorably to his ability to produce emotionally charged material after such a tragedy, and many of them appreciated the Pole family's fortitude and openness in trying circumstances. Charles's strategy reminded viewers of the value of getting help, establishing a purpose, and maintaining relationships with loved ones, even during the most trying times. Audiences from throughout the globe found encouragement in the Pohl family's tenacity during this time. Charles's steadfast commitment to his family, career, and personal development is evidence of his strength and capacity to transform suffering into meaning, giving others hope. Part of a famous family. Charles Pohl benefits from being a well-known family member, but a celebrity has difficulties. Being in the spotlight often implies that one is constantly watched, and Charles has not been immune to this. Over the years, he's encountered his share of controversy and criticism as executive producer of The Incredible Dr. Pohl. Some groups and people have disapproved of the program, especially about specific veterinarian procedures shown on the film. The show's realism and the Pohl family's commitment to animal care are admired by many viewers. Still, others have questioned some practices, igniting discussions on social media and in professional groups. A delicate balance. Charles has had a difficult time navigating these issues. As the show's creator, he's had to combine protecting the series' integrity with responding to widespread concerns. Diplomacy, perseverance, and a strong dedication to maintaining the show's authenticity and audience respect have all been necessary for his work. Charles has dealt with internet rumors and conjectures over his personal life and work difficulties. Dealing with rumors, false accusations, and even harsh criticism from strangers has come with being in the spotlight. Charles has, however, never wavered in his dedication to his family and the show's purpose. Charles has found strength in his childhood and the strong family values Dr. Jan and Diane Pohl established in him, rather than allowing celebrity demands to dissuade him. The Pohl legacy. His fortitude in the face of hardship is evidence of his character. It shows that he's a guy who's committed to his job, his family, and the principles that characterize Pohl's legacy, even when he's not in the spotlight. Unquestionably, Charles Pohl's reputation in reality television has been cemented by his work on The Incredible Dr. Pohl. He's been instrumental in creating the show's distinct appeal as an executive producer and on-screen personality. Charles effectively closed the divide between mainstream media and rural America with The Incredible Dr. Pohl, presenting the unadulterated beauty and inherent difficulties of a profession in veterinary medicine in a manner that appeals to audiences worldwide. Charles has taken the Pohl family's enduring values and unwavering work ethic into living rooms all around the globe by fusing real narrative with entertaining storytelling. Fans and industry experts have praised him for his commitment to capturing the harsh reality of rural living and animal care while retaining a feeling of warmth and comedy. His role as a father and husband. However, Charles's most important legacy is found in his roles as a husband and father, not in the bright lights of television. Charles has been steadfast in his devotion to his family in the face of severe personal adversity, such as the untimely death of his brother-in-law and the demands of celebrity. His unwavering commitment to creating a caring and supportive household is shown by his dedication to his wife, Beth, and their kids, Abigail and their son. Charles' path serves as a reminder that public recognition and professional accomplishments aren't the only factors that constitute success. The key to true success is overcoming life's unavoidable obstacles with grace, fortitude, and love. His character strength is powerfully shown by his capacity to achieve in his work while being a devoted family guy. Resilience, love, and determination. Charles Pohl's tale is one of tenacity, love, and willpower. Charles has been loyal to himself and his principles throughout his life, from his early years on the family farm to his prosperous career in television. Despite having experienced unspeakable loss, his capacity to transform his suffering into meaning is admirable. The biography of Charles Pohl serves as a potent reminder that every successful person has experienced hardships. Even though his path was filled with grief, it eventually served as a monument to the resilience of the human spirit. There are both triumphant and heartbreaking episodes in the life of Charles Pohl, son of Dr. Jan Pohl. Charles has experienced public acclaim and personal hardship throughout his life, starting with his early years working with his father on the family farm and continuing his career in Hollywood, where he eventually produced the popular reality program the incredible Dr. Pol. Despite his evident professional success, his struggles have molded him into the man he is today. Charles has been remarkably resilient in the face of the devastating and unexpected loss of his brother-in-law, Adam Butch. The courage and ideals his parents instilled in him are evident in his capacity to persevere and find comfort in his career and family. Heartbreaking chapter. A tragic part of an otherwise inspirational tale is the death of Dr. Pol's son, Charles. Charles has contributed significantly to the incredible Dr. Pol's current level of success, yet his path has been characterized by great joy and deep sadness. The whole Pol family was rocked by the tragic death of his brother-in-law, Adam Butch, who served as a sobering reminder of how unpredictable life can be. Charles has shown resiliency in the face of sadness and has continued to be a rock for his family despite this tremendous loss. Joy and inspiration to millions. By utilizing his position to amuse and spread lessons of tenacity and the value of cherishing loved ones, Charles has continued to make millions of people happy and inspired via his work on the program. His character is shown by his capacity to go ahead while juggling his obligations as a dedicated husband and parent and his professional commitments. Charles has found comfort in his family and career, demonstrating that love and purpose can provide a path ahead even amid the most challenging circumstances, even if the anguish of loss never disappears. His tale is one of love, bravery, and the enduring ties of family. If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon